For now, I'll stay right here where I belong.
You have an amazing opportunity, young generation, to rise above and be proud of the choices you're making and get out of a codependent culture and be responsible for you and work harder in your life than anyone else ever will.
What do you want? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? If no one else will fight, I'll be the one. I'll be the one to step into their world. I'll be the one to walk with them.
And I mean it more than you'll ever know.
Some people will ghost you. Well, then maybe they're not real friends. At some point in time in your life, you are going to have to come face to face with yourself.
Next time I'm getting it right. Will you believe me if I say this is the last time?
Then she points at me and she goes, there's greatness inside of you. Sometimes we need people to believe things for us until we can believe it for ourselves. Because I look at what I'm doing now and it's not lining up with what they said I couldn't do. And now I'm doing everything that people said I couldn't do. Because now I travel the world and I share my story.
Next time I'll get it right. But for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And by the time I was 26, I was sitting in 30-day inpatient treatment for alcohol. My family wanted nothing to do with me, couldn't hold a job. I was codependent, all because I thought I could get away with it. I should probably have about 10 DUIs, I only have 2. My last one was June 24, 2010. That was the DUI that changed my life.
For it to hurt more, to stay the same. When I get through this storm, I'll find it on my own. And I'll mean it more than you'll ever know.
And so I'm going to talk about connection and belonging. We're looking for a place to belong where someone can come out and say, hey, we want you here. I want you here. We want you around. We say we live in such a connected world. If that's the case, if we really say we're more connected, then why is everybody more depressed?
There's no dumb kid. There's no worthless kid. There's only kids that have been starved of love and have been wounded so badly, we're just looking for a place to lay. We can't change the history, but we can help shape their future.
Next time I'm getting it right.
Take one thing that you want to focus on to overcome in your life. Take one thing at a time and walk through the process. The process is only a process if one stays in it. If you don't stay in the process, then it's no longer a process. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peer Purpose Podcast. As always, such a delight to be here with each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. We're going to jump right into this tonight. Real quick, if you haven't yet, though, go like our Facebook page, the Peer Purpose Podcast. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, go ahead and do that, Peer Purpose Podcast. We'd love for you to join us on this journey. We're going to jump right in tonight. This is one of the biggest topics that I have really wanted to tackle for a while. I say this in many variations a lot of times when I'm talking to people. But tonight we're going to talk about acceptance versus agreement. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, acceptance versus agreement. And we live in a world where actually we think that, well, if you accept me, that means you agree with me. If you agree with me, that means you accept me, different things like that. And it's just not true. And so I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about the difference of the two. I'm going to start with a little story. So not long ago, I had someone approach me and they were in a lifestyle. They were in a lifestyle that their parents didn't agree with. And so they were talking to me about it. And they were saying, my parents don't do this and they don't agree with this. And they kind of I listened to their story, of course, because I want to hear everybody that comes to me and I want to be able to understand them before they understand me. And so that's one of the biggest things that I listen for. I'm like, okay, I want to know really where someone is coming from when we get into this thing. Okay. And that's going to help me how I give advice and just other things along those lines as well. And so I was listening, and then all of a sudden we get to the end and I started asking them some questions. But one of the biggest things I said, I want to share something with you. And I told them, I said, do you know that there's a difference between acceptance and agreement? And they kind of looked at me a little stunned. And so I went into it and I said, here's the thing. With what you're talking about. Your parents may accept you for who you are, but they may not agree with the lifestyle that you're living. And I had to ask some questions. And one of the questions I asked, I said, if they never ever agree with what you are doing, are you still willing to continue on in your situation? And I believe there were some challenging questions that I had for this person. And shortly after that, they did not come back for advice. But I wanted to make it clear that there's a difference between acceptance and there's a difference between agreement. Okay. They are not the same, they're not mutually exclusive. Okay. Acceptance says, I see you, I know what you do. I'm going to embrace who you are as a person, but I may not agree with the things that you do. But we think today that if someone doesn't agree with us, and we're going to get to this a little bit later, if someone doesn't actually agree with us, we think that they don't accept us. And it's just not the truth. I can accept many people, I accept everyone, but I may not agree with what they do. Years ago, when I was in my mess of a life, okay, and in my, I don't know, early 20s, one of the biggest things is I had to sit in the situation where my parents, I believe they accepted me for who I was, but they didn't agree with the lifestyle that I was living. And so they said, hey, here's the deal. If you're going to do this, this, and this, you can't be around us. Okay. But if you do this, this, and this, and you can, they were actually putting a boundary up for acceptance and agreement. They didn't agree with what I was doing for my life. Okay. And they said, matter of fact, if you're going to do it, we're not going to actually help you do this. But they accepted who I was. Okay. And so it's just, there is a big difference when it comes to it. And so I want you to start getting in your mindset tonight that acceptance is not the same as agreement. Okay. And this is what we see so much in our world today, right? We want everyone to agree with us. Matter of fact, I know many people that will not move on in an argument until the other person agrees with them. Agreement and acceptance are not the same thing. We can accept many things, but we may not agree with them. And so we have to understand tonight there is a difference. Okay. The second thing with acceptance, here's what I want you to start shifting your expectations to. Because acceptance says, I love who you are, but I don't love what you do. Okay. That's what acceptance says. Agreement says, I agree with everything you do. I love what you do. I love who you are, different things like that. But if we're looking for a situation where acceptance and agreement collide, just because they aren't mutually exclusive doesn't mean the person doesn't care about you. Okay. I want us to understand this tonight. It doesn't mean that the person does not care about you. They can accept and they go. So I want you to start shifting your mindset. And I want you to start saying, okay, they may accept me, this person may accept me, but they don't have to agree with everything that I do. Matter of fact, if they agree with everything that you do, you're probably keeping yes men around you. People just agree with you. That's yes man. And actually, those people are very, very dangerous because they're not actually going to help you in the long run. They're going to lead you towards destruction more and more. We think we want to hear what we want to hear, but we need to keep people around us that will actually tell us what we need to hear. And this goes with acceptance and agreement. If someone's always agreeing with you, if you never have any disagreements, if we never have our own opinions, if we never get to a place where we can share our differences without someone saying, that's wrong, guys, we're missing it. And we've been in that place for many years. Okay. We've been in that place for at least the last few years. Since 2020, we've been in a place where we think that some other people's differences, and just because they don't agree with us, they hate us and they're wrong. No, shift your mindset. I understand this is all counterculture. This is all counterculture to what everyone tries to tell us in the world. But I promise you, acceptance and agreement, they can live in the same place. So start shifting your expectations when it comes to acceptance and start asking yourself, is this something they need to agree with me on? Is this something I need to agree with them on? I can accept their position, but I may not have to agree with it. If we can get this one thing right here, we can coexist with people that have differences and that have more differences, okay, than us. And so let's get that tonight. We're not going to agree on everything. Matter of fact, I'll just share a story. Me and my admin, her name is Chelsea Horner. She's great. She's been with me for 3 years. She's moving into a bigger realm with my company. We've grown quite a bit in the last couple of years. It's actually been crazy. And one of the biggest things she always talks about, if two people are holding up dollar bill and I'm on one side and they're on the other side, okay? We're seeing the same dollar bill, but it's a different perspective. I'm seeing the front side or the back side, and she's seeing the front side or the back side, okay? Whatever it may be. But in the bigger perspective of it, I actually want her to disagree with me. I want her to disagree with me. I want her to say, I don't really agree with that. One, it challenges my beliefs. When people don't always agree with me, it challenges my beliefs. And I have to look at, am I solid in my beliefs on this topic? And so when I shift my mentality to say, okay, they may accept my position, but they don't have to agree with it. And one of the things that's going to do, it's going to help me look at my position and say, am I solid in what I actually believe with this? On the racism thing, some of you have seen my position on it. I don't agree with Black Lives Matter. I don't agree with a lot of the race baiting that's been out there. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it publicly. I'm going to say it openly for the first time. I don't agree with it. I think Black Lives Matter is the worst movement ever. I think it's super demonic. I think it's oppressive. Don't need to get into that. It is what it is, right? But what I'm saying is, what disagreement allows me to do, it allows me to really check and see if my beliefs are solid, okay? And then let's have a conversation about it. I want to be able to have that conversation of, okay, why or what makes you feel that way? And then so we can talk and we can handle it, right? And then give the different perspective. I love having conversations with people about things we don't agree on. And so I want people to disagree with me. I like when she disagrees with me because it makes me look at a few different things. One, am I solid in what I believe about what I'm actually saying? And two, is there a better way that I can go about something, or I can look at the same thing? And maybe that will actually help bring up a new type of solution to the same, or strategy to the same thing we've been talking about. Okay, so we have to shift our perspective. Acceptance should be out at the forefront because we should accept everybody, but we don't have to agree just because people will tell us, oh, we're bigots, we're this, we hate them. No, that's not true. We don't hate people because we disagree. I have the right to have my own beliefs, values, needs, wants, all the above. That's my circle of responsibility. I have the right to do that. And I should be able to present those. Now, if I present them where I'm saying this is right and you need to take these, then okay, that's a problem. We're not going to do that. But it's okay to have people disagree with you because that actually challenges what we say we really believe. We have to know what we believe, y'all. The problem is our foundation, especially in the last few years, is super off. We're seeing a lens it's foggy. Our foundation, there's cracks in our foundation. And a lot of the times we don't even know what we believe, but we want people to agree with what we don't know what we believe, right? No, we have to check our foundation. Disagreements help you do that, okay? What does it mean to truly agree? Okay, what does agreement truly mean? Okay. It means this. It means if you get to a place where you are talking about, let's just say, political issue, social issue, whatever you want to say, and you're talking to the person and they say something to you and you agree with them or they agree with you, does that mean that they always will agree with you? No. But on that topic, they agree. Okay. They agree with you on that topic. So, what does that mean? That is a great place to connect over. It all comes back to relationships, y'all. It comes back to relationships with people. And when you agree on a topic with someone, now, if you're connecting in a way that's going to polarize someone or get to a space where you're just actually bulldozing someone to get your point across, that's not what I'm saying. But when you agree with someone, when you truly agree with someone, that is a great connection point. And even a disagreement, one of the things, with some people, the point is to find common ground. One of the things about disagreement, you can say, hey, this is our common ground. We actually don't agree on this topic. That's a great way to connect too, right? But agreement means on certain things, I agree with you, certain things I don't, but it may not always be this way. Okay. Now, let me flip it. If you don't agree with someone and you don't accept them for that reason, I'm here to say you need to go back to the drawing board and check your heart. We should be able to accept people, even if we don't agree with them. Okay. Even if we don't agree with them, we should be able to accept people for who they are. Okay. So if you are not in agreement with someone and you don't accept them, or you will only accept them if you agree with them, man, you are building some bad habits for the relationships in your life. How do we stay connected when we disagree on things? Because this is the biggest thing. One of the things that I started doing a video last night, and it was just this. And I basically said this, so I'll put it out here today. I was going to put a video out, and basically one of the biggest things was I get a lot of messages from tons of people, mainly kids, weekly, right? A lot of it's their problems that they want solved. They're looking for a solution with certain things. They're looking for an answer. Some of them are looking to be justified. And a lot of it has to do, I would say 90% of it has to do with people, right? Their peers, okay? Certain situations and relationships in their life. But one of the biggest things that come with that, and I would say 95% of them, maybe more, out of the 90% that I get, the 95% of those all have to do with trying to control or manipulate someone to get them to do what they want them to do. Okay. And so I want to say, you cannot make anybody do anything that they don't want to. One, it's not your job. Okay. It's not your job to try to fix someone. That is not the goal. It's not your job to try to control them to agree with you because you're scared that their differing opinions is going to bump your belief system. Okay. It's not our job to do that. And everything that we put on display for other people is always a symptom of what is inside our heart. The things we say, the things we do. It's always a symptom of what is inside our hearts. So if you're trying to control, manipulate, whatever it may be to try to get someone to do what you want them to do and agree with you, there is an underlying issue inside of your heart. It's mainly probably a wound from a past thing you've experienced, and you need to fix that in you, or there is nothing that they will say or do that's going to be satisfying to you. And honestly, there's going to be nothing that you say or do that's going to be satisfying to you. It is not your job. So find things with people, your friends, family. What can you connect over? What is the common ground? I've said this before on here, I believe. One of the biggest things is I had a mom and a daughter come to me, and a couple years ago I had a parenting course, and a mom and a daughter came to me, and the mom did not agree with the daughter's lifestyle. Okay. And I finally had some one-on-ones with them, but I finally had to sit them down, and I looked at both of them and I said, here's the one thing you cannot change. And I looked at the mom, I said, that is your daughter. Okay. And I looked at the daughter, I said, that is your mom. That is one thing that you will not be able to change. You are forever tagged with that title, mom and daughter, daughter and mom. Okay. Take it to son, brother, whatever you want to do, uncle, aunt, you are tagged that. So you will forever be connected in that way. And so I told him to take it a step further. And I said this, I said, you need to find the things. This is the first one I just gave you that you are connected on that actually don't take any effort to think about. Because when you find the connections and the similarities over the differences, it won't matter if you agree on every topic or not. You will simply enjoy the relationship for who they are because you are okay with them being their unique individual self who God created them to be each and every day. Acceptance and agreement are two different things. Okay, they're not mutually exclusive. You don't have to accept someone to agree with them. You don't have to agree with them to accept them. Okay, but understand that it's okay to have the difference, but accepting someone over their differences actually, I said last week, gives them hope that you are responding in a different way than they see every other place. Okay, if you have any questions, I'd love to put them in the chat. I'm looking here, Andrew. I appreciate you and the wisdom, no difference. Yes, sir. Chris, how you doing? Dozer, what's going on? I'd love to come back to YHS, man, and YMS. I miss Yankton. You guys have any questions? Put them in the chat. Tell her if you see anything, put them in the chat. I would love to answer anything. I'm thankful for you all that are tuning in. We're gonna really keep going on this thing. It's been really just fun for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's been fun to be able to just put some stuff out there, And so if you have any questions in the chat, if not, you know how to get a hold of us, peerpurposepodcast@gmail.com. Would love to hear where you're listening from. Would love to absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, just talk to you and be able to resource for you. I had a question last week in my email from a viewer, and I'm actually going to get to that in the next few weeks. There was a lot of stuff that they unpacked in it, so I'm super excited to start addressing a lot of it. So if you're listening tonight, you know who you are. I'm getting to that. If there's no questions, no worries, you're going to be okay. We're going to do this thing together. I promise you. Okay? So much gold inside of you that's going to help walk the greatness outside of you. You're going to be all right. If you are in a place where you feel stuck, reach out, but more importantly, know that your destiny is just on the horizon. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.
Next time.